And we're off. So, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Brawn Through Brains podcast. I'm your host as always, Michael, and here I'm joined with Ryan Ransome. Ryan Ransome from Our Community is Limited. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Not too bad, thank you.
So, I believe it's just yourself who runs Our Community is Limited.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Our Community is Limited, I set up last month as a community fundraising company that will work across Caerphilly County Borough, looking at holding various sized events to try and raise awareness and support of major issues that affect people not just in Caerphilly but across the whole of the county. As well as running these campaigns to try and raise awareness, we will then look at trying to generate peer-led community support projects. So taking an alternative route to support and inclusion rather than the current systems that are in place, trying to take a much more community-led approach through projects like the community allotments, our arts and photography groups, and generally things that will give people within the community an opportunity to get involved in events or activities they wouldn't necessarily have the chance to. With the aim then of looking at trying to develop a wider sort of extending support network for any individual who lives across the borough, really. Yeah.
So is it in particular people with mental health issues or mostly just for anyone?
The aim is to be as inclusive as possible. Now, what we don't want is for any form of disability or mental health issue to act as a barrier to someone's inclusion. So the first major campaign we are running is looking specifically at mental health issues and the impact of suicide. Now, the reason for using this campaign as the primary aim, primary campaign is to not only illustrate how big the issue of mental health is, but to try and sort of highlight to the whole borough that it doesn't matter what your mental health status is, we still want you involved in the work that we're doing. We are looking at trying to include anyone of any age, whether you're a parent, a toddler, or an old age pensioner. It's about trying to find something that is appropriate for anyone and everyone across the community, really.
Cool. What kind of stuff do you run at the moment? Because you said you have photography.
Yes, we're in the process now of setting up the arts and photography project, which is starting off as an online gallery, basically, where anyone is able to submit, whether it be a painting, a photo, a drawing, or a piece of literature that they've written. Anyone is able to submit that through to us. It will then go on to our gallery via the website, where people can browse and sort of just admire the work that's going on across Caerphilly. The aim then would be, in 6 months' time, looking at trying to arrange some form of community exhibition where people actually get the chance to highlight and sort of promote the work that they're doing, and potentially even move some of these hobbies into potential careers for people. But it's very much just about giving that initial opportunity to someone, trying to remove as many of the barriers as we can. For a lot of people, it's the fear factor. They don't want to put their painting or their drawing up in front of thousands of people where it can be tracked back to them. So it gives people the opportunity to sort of publish things almost anonymously if that's what they feel most comfortable with.
They have the option to do that.
Exactly that. But it means they can still put their work out there in the public domain, get the recognition they deserve, if that's what they're willing to do by putting their name to it. But if not, then they can still see the applause they get anonymously through the websites themselves. So that's just one of the many projects that we're looking at doing now. One that's had an awful lot of positive feedback so far is the community allotment, similarly, where the ideal aim would be over the next 2 years, 3 years, to have a community allotment that we are operating in every community across Caerphilly County Borough. Now, it sounds very idealistic, but again, it would give people that opportunity to get involved in something that they wouldn't have necessarily done before. When we look at sort of communities being self-sustainable, a lot of people simply, it might sound quite daft, but a lot of people don't know how to grow their own fruit and vegetables. So just having that option locally for anyone to get involved in, I think, is the first step of re-engaging the wider community with everything that is going on locally.
Yeah, that's cool. That kind of thing is really good. Is that a lot of people will think about this kind of stuff, but they don't know where to start, which is really good.
Exactly that.
Yeah,
and what we know as well is that, particularly when it comes to mental health, unfortunately there's a massive stigma attached to mental health. So if you try to have a discussion with someone around mental health, quite often you will just get that, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So what we want to try and do is set these projects in place in a neutral environment where there's no pressure, there's no sort of intimidating sort of discussions around mental health. But what we're able to do is, as I mentioned initially, is set a foundation of trust with any volunteers who get involved with what we do. So if and when something does happen in that person's life, they do have a wider support network, even if they feel like the most isolated person in their local area. They know that there is a network of support that's available, whether we can provide the direct intervention ourselves or signpost to the services that are available. But it's very much acting as that point of contact for anyone who needs us across the borough.
Yeah, I think that's especially important as someone who's dealt with a lot of issues and stuff like this, like depression and all that kind of stuff. It's a strange thing is that people come to you and asking if you're right, and that is the instant feedback is, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay. But if you've got someone you trust, you know very well, then eventually you can come out to them and tell them problems you have. So I think that is a good idea. Exactly
that. It's very much about developing that openness and that relationship from the offset. But what you'll often find as well is people don't necessarily want to have a best friend to talk to these issues, about these issues with, because they don't want to burden their friends or their family with their own problems. So what we also know is having an external sort of group that isn't a part of their closest family and friend network almost takes a bit of pressure off them, because they're not burdening their close friends and families with those issues. Then they're able to get them off their chest, but in a way that their friends and families don't feel the pressure. So that they're able to give that pressure to a group like us, where it doesn't have the same effect as they feel it would if they were to sort of divulge everything to those closest to them.
That's great. Just got to do a quick ad read, and then we'll get into your Man Down campaign, which we're going to be doing soon. So this podcast is brought to you by Podmage, different kind of casting. Podmage brings you a wide variety of podcasts, including the talk show Cup of RJ, which is currently airing a series of summer specials right now, which is the Summer of Drinks. That's podmage.com. And also brought to you by BrawnThroughBrains.com. We have limited collection apparel, and we should have some articles up soon. For podcast listeners, we have a discount available. So if you used code podcast10, you get 10% off your order. That's BrawnThroughBrains.com, podcast10. So now that's all out of the way. The Man Down campaign. So you're going to be riding, I believe, it's from Land's End, John O'Groats?
Yes. And the long way, as lots of people like pointing out. Well, the Man Down campaign really is there to try and highlight the issue of mental health, and in particular suicide, not just in Caerphilly but across the whole of the UK. Now, it's all a very poignant matter for so many people. But what we know is right now we are losing 12 men a day under the age of 40 through suicide. So what we've decided to do as an organisation is to try and really highlight the importance of this matter through our first major campaign, Man Down. Now, as you said, we're going to be cycling 1,008 miles in total.
Jeez.
Yes. I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to it. But the numbers are so important because we're running this campaign for 84 days. We currently lose 84 men a week under the age of 40 through suicide. So the campaign will run for 84 days. And then in November this year is when I've pledged to complete this bike ride. We will be cycling from Land's End to John O'Groats, looking to travel through Warwick, Preston and Blackpool en route. as these are the 3 of the cities that are worst affected by suicide in the whole of the UK. So firstly is to try and highlight that this isn't just an issue that we are facing.
Yeah.
This is a national and international crisis. On a global scale, we know that we are losing 1 man every minute through suicide. So it just really hits home how big the problem is. Now, the 1,008 miles is because of the fact that in the 84 days the campaign will be running, we expect to lose 1,008 lives through suicide. So when people hear 1,000 miles, they think that's absolutely ridiculous, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But then when we translate that to 1,000 lives in such a short space of time, I think it really hits home how big the problem really is, and why something's got to change now. We're not trying to criticise services that are in place at the moment. We know a lot of the victims of mental health and suicide aren't actually involved directly with mental health professionals.
Yeah.
So that is why we're trying to take, as I mentioned, the more sort of societal approach with the community-led peer support side of things as well. So yeah, that's the Man Down campaign will be kicking off in November. And I think it will take me a month or 2 to probably recover. But it will be running, the ride itself will take 12 days.
12 days?
Yes. That's what... Apparently it can be done shorter, but I am no seasoned cyclist.
Yeah.
So yes, we've tried to plan everything so that every number that we are using relates to the issue at hand. Pardon me. So as I mentioned, the campaign will run for 84 days. 84 lives a week are lost. It will take us 12 days to complete it, as we lose 12 lives every single day, and we will cover 1,008 miles in total to reflect the total lives lost. So although the numbers sound a bit out there to begin with, there's been a lot of thought put into why we need to use these figures and what's the best way of using them, and trying to take some positive from such a difficult subject matter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. Have you been training much for it?
Not enough, probably.
Not enough.
It's been a very difficult couple of weeks since I've launched the campaign. This is obviously the first major campaign that we've been running as an organisation. So I've been trying to juggle setting up our community as limited, doing the sort of publicity of that, the advertising and the sort of canvassing of that, as well as the training for the upcoming event. But what we're going to be looking at doing is, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be setting up community rides. So part and parcel of my training, I will be looking at trying to link up with anyone in the community who is into cycling, not to join me on the main event, but very much just to get involved on a sort of week-by-week basis and help me develop my skills ready for the event itself.
Right, I did have something else here, didn't I? So you've got I believe you've got a fundraising goal as well, haven't you?
Yes. We've set the target as £5,000 for the Man Down campaign.
Yeah.
The aim with that then is to use the funds generated from that to reinvest into the community projects like our allotment project. One of the sort of primary aims with anything we want to do is to try and ensure there is no costs incurred to any of the community members, as obviously finances can be one of the biggest barriers to people getting involved in anything.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking at trying to invest half of that £5,000 into our first community allotment project, and then also reinvesting into a community-wide It's a Knockout course. So we would then be looking at trying to transport our own It's a Knockout course to the different sort of villages around Caerphilly County Borough, organising sort of monthly fun days free of charge for any of the local community members. And then we will be using all of the funds generated through that to then influence and input into the next campaign that we're running. So hopefully we can hit that target. But I think the key part for us at the moment is awareness raising as opposed to sort of financial benefits from it. If we've already had quite an amazing response through our sort of website and our Just Give In page, But what's been most heartwarming is actually the volunteers for support as opposed to the finances. For example, I've had a volunteer offer to build the bike that I'll be using to complete the Man Down campaign. Now, to me, that is such a huge thing, to know that someone has seen the work that we're trying to do and feels passionate enough to get involved by actually building the bike that I will use for this journey. It just highlights to me how much of an impact it can have on every community member, do you know what I mean? So that's where we're at now, is trying to get the £5,000 if possible, which would be fantastic, and it will help us speed up the projects that we want to roll out across the borough. But first and foremost, it's about getting the message out there that mental health, it's okay to not be okay, Joe. And it is okay to talk about what's going on in your head. That is the most important thing as far as this campaign is concerned.
I just wanted to say as well, to anyone listening who is having trouble with this kind of thing, kind of my personal advice from my own personal experiences, at least from a clinical side. I know you've said community projects and all that stuff is always good, but if you feel like you are ready to do that kind of thing, first off, I'd say go on to mind.co.uk. Mind is a brilliant resource. It's got stuff for everything you'd ever need, like medication, different kinds of therapy. They've got all kinds of links. You might need to get in contact with them as well.
I'm in contact.
You have been in contact. That's always great. They've got just all the information you'd ever need. And then second as well, I'd say see a GP. I know that is definitely the most scariest thing, but I know I've heard a lot of bad things about GPs, but my GP herself has been amazing. If you find someone who says something else or whatever, it's not real or whatever, I've heard some awful stories. See someone else, because the sensible ones are good. The
thing I try to stress to people, if you feel able to get involved with a professional, then fantastic. Do it. It's not going to do you any harm, that's for sure. But what I wouldn't want is for people to feel that is their only choice. And I think for anyone who is listening, the important thing to remember, and it sounds so cheesy and the old cliche, but a problem shared is a problem halved. So just talk to someone. Anybody. It really doesn't matter who you talk to. Although the doctor is fantastic, if you do need medication, if you do need sort of counselling or any sort of ongoing support, the most important part, as far as I am concerned, is getting it out of your own head and ensuring that you are sharing it with someone that you feel able to trust, and then discuss with them what is the best option for you moving forward. So don't be too scared, and I know it's easier said than done.
It's very good for you. So it almost feels real then at that point, because it's in your head that much, and it's all this kind of thing. But if you actually say it, and then someone responds, maybe not in a positive way, sounds a bit weird, but in a supportive way, if they go, okay, what can we do about it? And
I think that's the key. I know I've suffered with my own mental health issues, and my biggest fear throughout my struggles was the impact it would have on my friends and family. The way that they would think about me. I didn't want their opinions to change of me. I didn't want people to look at me in a different way or think about me in a different way. And what was absolutely incredible was seeing that it didn't. When it came out that I was having my struggles, I didn't lose those friends. They, if anything, they became stronger. They understood more what I needed from them, and they understood more why I wasn't necessarily able to do certain things. If my anxiety was playing up, I didn't need to try and make an excuse not to go and visit. I could just tell them my anxiety was playing up, and they understood then. Whereas for years previously, I'd worried myself about trying to create excuses and reasons.
Around the issue.
Exactly that. And that's what's become quite apparent with so many people I've spoken to since, is that when they have taken that initial step just to open up a little bit, it starts to make everything else a lot easier because you take so much pressure off yourself just by sharing that little bit with someone else. So yeah, if anyone at all, as we do offer a service via the Facebook page and through our website where at any time of day or night, if someone just wants to talk, then we do have a service. We can't guarantee we're able to reply immediately, but we do guarantee we will reply. And even if that's just someone wanting to rant and to get something off their chest, and to someone they don't know, so that they don't feel there's going to be any comeback, then we are available through the Our Community is Limited website.
So is that just by messaging the page, or?
Yes, through the website. You can directly message us through the website, or alternatively through the Facebook page as well. There's a similar process. You can message us at the moment, but I believe the response time is less than 40 minutes. So we do our absolute best to get back to people as soon as possible. But like I said, we will always respond to anyone who does get in contact.
That's fantastic. That kind of thing is really good. I'm trying to think of anything else I had to say now. Can you tell this is only my third podcast? Very well prepared.
That's okay. Can you tell it's my first?
Cool. So Facebook page is Our Community is Limited, yeah? Is it limited the full word or LTD?
Limited the full word. Yeah. Or I believe there's a tag at Our Community 2018.
Cool. So you got a Just Giving page as well. That's through your website and the Facebook page, yeah?
Yep, that's all available. Get my teeth in. The links are all available through the website and the Facebook page, or it's the Man Down campaign on the Just Giving page directly.
Cool, wonderful. Good luck with the training.
I think I'm going to need it.
And we wish you well for everything else you do. Again, that's Our Community is Limited. .com as well?
.co.uk.
.co.uk. Cool. Check those guys out. Right.